I want to talk to you today about finding yourself as a dancer, because we're so lucky in belly dance, because this is a dance style where we're not just performers, we're creators as well. You know, when I was training in ballet, when I was young, and then I went on to train in contemporary dance and jazz as well. In those dance forms, you're kind of expected to be clones of each other. And ballet is an absolutely perfect example of this. Everybody has to really look exactly the same when they're doing certain moves. So you're trained from a really, really early age to do every move in a particular way. And you're meant to have a particular body shape as well. If you're going to go on to be to be a ballet dancer, you have to be a particular body shape. And you're usually dancing in groups. The other thing as well is that in most dance styles, you're dancing someone else's choreography. And that is pretty typical of all dance styles. Now, in belly dance, we're primarily solo dancers. And we have a great tradition of being improvisers as well, but also we can be choreographers. But we're not always having to do somebody else's dance. We can actually we're usually creating our own dance, either through improvisation or through choreography. And so we have a chance to express ourselves in a way that I think is pretty much unique, actually. Now, I absolutely believe that when we are learning, when we're training in belly dance, it's really, really important that we follow our dance teacher and we learn by copying, largely as dancers. So it's really important that you watch your teacher and that you try and replicate the moves and try and do them the way that she does as much as possible. And then as you become more experienced, to do some classes or workshops with other teachers so that you develop a much broader range of ways of doing things and new moves and new styles as well. Then I believe there comes a time, if you're really passionate about belly dancing and particularly if you love performing, I believe there comes a time when you move on from being a follower, a learner, to being a creator. Now, of course, you never ever stop learning. I mean, I'm still learning. Here I am, 40 years on from first discovering belly dance, and I am still learning, still trying to so find new ways of doing things and learn new moves. But there comes a time when I think it's really important for dancers to start to develop their own style and to find out who they are, what their uniqueness is. And this is something that I spend most of my work doing, is working with experienced, advanced and professional dancers and helping them to find the uniqueness within them, to find out what makes them the dancer that they are. And that's where we start to find the artistry. If we look at, say, Samia Gamal, Fifi Abdou, Dina, there you've got three dancers who are all doing supposedly the same dance. They're all doing belly dance, but they're completely different. Their styles are totally different. And anybody who isn't into belly dance would think that they're doing a completely different dance. But no, they're not. They're just expressing the music the way that they personally want to express the music. And that's the great step that we make when we start to become artists. Now, how do we actually do that? As I say, I think we need to start off by having a good broad vocabulary and a good facility, a good ability to do the moves that we need to do as belly dancers. So we mustn't overlook the importance of that good grounding that we have. But then there comes a time when I think it's really important to start to explore the way that the music, particularly, because of course in belly dance, the music is absolutely integral to our dance. And we are expressors of music. We are dancers who try and show the music in our body. And there comes a time, I believe, when we need to find out how the music makes us want to move. And that, I think, is an absolutely wonderful, wonderful journey of exploration. I think when you're starting to do that, you need to honor yourself and your own background in dance and your own heritage in dance. And it might be that if you have other dance styles in your vocabulary, in your past, like for example, I did ballet for many, many years. I did contemporary dance as a degree, and I've done jazz. So my dance, when I started to actually develop my own dance style, I allowed a little bit of that styling to come into my dance. I wouldn't call it fusion. What I do isn't fusion. I think my style is sort of, quite Egyptian in its styling. But still, I'm not afraid to bring in moves that feel a little bit more balletic. So my hands will tend to be sort of quite balletic. I'm not afraid to do some leg extensions or whatever. So how am I going to help you to make that transition? I would say put music on in the privacy of your own room and allow yourself to be moved without thinking too much about it, without trying to kind of rationalize or intellectualize what you're doing. Just see what happens with your body. Don't have a judge say on your shoulder or up in your head saying that's not right, that people wouldn't like that. Don't worry about what other people think. Respond to what you want to do and how you want to interpret the music and how you want to dance. And if you've got good training behind you, then whatever you do will be good. And it will be authentic because it will be authentically you, and that's what we want to be. The other thing I would suggest is that you video yourself. That can be really, really helpful. So get into the habit of just putting a camera, putting your phone on a windowsill or a ledge or something and just videoing what you're doing. And just look at yourself, think, does that look nice? Do I like that? Be your own judge. Don't worry about what other people might think. That was something that was quite difficult for me because I was really, really worried when I started to do my own dance. I was really worried that people would judge me negatively, but in actual fact, it was quite the opposite. You are the artist. And as long as you are true to yourself and that you are respectful of the culture that we are interpreting, then I believe you can't go wrong. Make a decision yourself about what is right or wrong for you. I have my own personal rules, if you like. I prefer to dance to Egyptian or Arabic music or belly dance music. I don't personally dance to Western music, but that's my choice. I always make sure that I have a good, lots and lots of belly dance moves in there. But if I throw in some other moves or just something that I make up myself, that's great. But it's down to you. If you want to be a fusion dancer, be a fusion dancer. If you want to bring other things into it, bring other things into it. Just make sure that you know what you're doing and why you're doing. And make sure, ultimately, that what you do looks good and entertains people, because that's what we're here for. We're here to give joy and pleasure to people through our dancing. So, enjoy the journey, that's the important thing. Be respectful of the culture, but don't be a slave to it. Don't worry about rules, make up your own rules. And most of all, remember that we're here to communicate the joy of dance, the joy of music, and the beauty of the culture of the dance that we're dancing.